These seemingly ordinary coins could be worth thousands or even millions of dollars today, so before you spend that old quarter, stick around, because you might be holding a fortune in your hands. What if I told you that inside your old jar of change, tucked away in that dusty shoe box in the attic or rattling around in the glove box of your car, there lies a hidden masterpiece worth more than a luxury mansion? It sounds absolutely insane, like a complete fantasy, but for a lucky few, this is the shocking reality of the numismatic world, where dirty, rusty, and seemingly worthless coins turn out to be the rarest treasures on Earth. We are talking about the potential to build an empire from a single piece of metal that you might have otherwise ignored or tossed into a vending machine without a second thought. Today we are going to dive deep into the secret world of rare coins, specifically focusing on 5 Washington quarter dollars that have sold for astronomical sums, and the best part is that some of these coins look absolutely terrible, covered in grime and oxidation, yet they are valued at millions of dollars. You need to stop ignoring your old coins right now and start paying attention, because the difference between being broke and becoming a billionaire could be sitting in your pocket at this very moment. First up on our list of heavy hitters is the legendary 1965 Washington quarter, a coin that represents one of the most significant transitional eras in United States minting history. Now you might be thinking that a 1965 quarter is just a common piece of pocket change, and usually you would be right because billions were minted, but there is a secret variation that is worth a life-changing fortune. In 1965, the US Mint was in a state of panic and transition, moving away from the traditional 90% silver composition to the copper-nickel-clad composition we know today, a change necessitated by the rising price of silver and a coin shortage that was gripping the nation. During this chaotic time, a few rogue planckettes, the blank metal discs that coins are stamped on, slipped through the cracks. Some of these were silver planckettes left over from 1964, and they were accidentally struck with the 1965 date. This created a transitional error that is the holy grail for many collectors. Imagine finding a 1965 quarter that looks a bit dull, maybe even dirty or brown from years of circulation, but when you pick it up it feels different. It has a distinct weight and a specific sound when dropped. That is the sound of silver, and that is the sound of $1 million payday. One of these specific error coins, despite its unassuming, uncirculated appearance, recently stunned the world by selling for over $1.5 million at auction. That is not a typo, that is $1.5 million for a coin that you might find in a junk drawer. The key to identifying this fortune is to look at the edge of the coin. If you see a solid silver stripe instead of the copper-brown line that usually sandwiches the nickel, you need to get that coin certified immediately, because you have just struck gold. Do not let the dirty appearance fool you. The most valuable coins often look the worst because they have been hiding in plain sight for decades, just waiting for a sharp-eyed hunter to rescue them from obscurity. Scour your collection, raid your piggy banks, and check every single 1965 quarter you can find, because if you miss this, you will live with the regret of knowing you spent a fortune on a pack of gum. And secondly, we move to a coin that is equally shocking, the 1979 D Washington quarter, a piece that proves that even modern coins can hold unimaginable value. The D stands for the Denver Mint, a facility that has produced billions of coins, but in 1979 a catastrophic and beautiful mistake created a rarity worth millions. This specific coin involves a wrong planchet error, where the dies for the quarter were struck onto a piece of metal intended for a completely different coin, possibly a nickel or even a foreign denomination that the mint was producing at the time. Visually, this coin might look smaller, or the design might be cut off at the edges, and the metal might have a strange lackluster color that makes it look like a fake or a damaged piece of trash. Most people would look at this coin, see the odd shape and the dirty surface, and throw it away, thinking it is just a manufacturing defect with no value. That would be $1 million mistake. This specific 1979 specimen, discovered in a batch of ordinary bank rolls, was authenticated as a major mint error and valued at over $1 million. Just imagine the shock of finding this in a roll of quarters you bought to do laundry. The details on this coin are fascinating because the planchet was the wrong size. The pressure of the strike caused the metal to flow in unusual ways, creating a unique, one-of-a-kind appearance that collectors go absolutely wild for. It is a masterpiece of error, a symbol of the imperfection that makes collecting so thrilling. You need to look closely at the D mint mark in the rim of the coin. If things don't line up, if the weight feels off, or if the color seems strange, do not discard it. This is your chance to turn a simple moment of curiosity into a legacy of wealth. Dig into that shoe box of old coins you have been ignoring, pour out those jars, and hunt for the 1979 D. Because this is not just a hobby, this is a treasure hunt with real-world stakes that could skyrocket your net worth overnight. Stop ignoring your old coins. Check your collection. Look through those jars of change. And thirdly, we arrive at the 1995 Washington quarter, a coin from a decade that most people consider completely devoid of valuable numismatic items. We tend to think of the 92nds as modern history producing only face value-clad coinage, but the 1995 P is here to shatter that illusion and prove that treasures are still being made in our lifetime. The P indicates the Philadelphia Mint, and in this particular year a striking error occurred that resulted in a magnificent double die obverse. A double die happens when the hub that stamps the design onto the die hits it multiple times at slightly different angles, creating a doubling effect on the image. On this specific 1995 P quarter, you need to look very closely at the lettering of LIBERTY and the motto INGODWETRUST. You will see a distinct shadowing or doubling of the letters, a subtle but critical detail that transforms this quarter from 25 cents into a numismatic giant. But here is the kicker: the most valuable version of this coin was found in a condition that can only be described as filthy. It was dark-toned and covered in the grime of circulation, suggesting it had passed through thousands of hands before someone finally noticed the error. This particular dirty specimen, with its rare doubling and unique character, was valued at a jaw-dropping $13 million. It defies all logic that something so ugly could be worth so much, but in the world of high-end coin collecting, rarity trumps beauty every single time. The market for these modern errors is exploding right now, with new collectors eager to find the next big thing, and you could be the supplier of that treasure. Imagine the feeling of looking through your pocket change, spotting that 1995 date and realizing that the blurry letters are not your eyes playing tricks on you, but the signature of $1 million discovery. You have to be vigilant, you have to be obsessive, and you have to check every single coin, because the 1995 P is out there hiding in registers and pockets waiting for you to claim it. Stick around for more videos like this, because we are only scratching the surface of what is possible. And fourthly, we have the 1980 Washington quarter, a coin that comes from a very interesting period in mint history. The years 1980 to 1983 are famous among collectors because the U.S. Mint did not produce official and circulated mint sets for collectors during those years. This means that high-quality examples of coins from this era are incredibly scarce, because most of them were dumped directly into circulation to be used as money. Finding a pristine 1982 D is hard enough, but finding the specific error version we are talking about today is like winning the lottery. This coin features a dramatic error involving a missing mint mark combined with a massive die crack that runs through the skull of Washington. It is a striking error that gives the coin a unique, almost damaged look, which is why so many people miss it. They see the crack, they see the wear, and they assume it is just a broken coin. But that crack is the money maker. That missing mint mark, which should be there but isn't due to a grease-filled die error, adds layers of value that are simply unimaginable. One specific example of this 1980 D error, found in an old canvas bag of bank coins, was auctioned for a life-altering sum of $1 million. The buyer recognized the scarcity of the date, the severity of the error, and the historical context of the missing mints as creating a perfect storm of value. You might have this coin sitting in a jar of pennies and quarters right now, totally unaware that it could pay off your mortgage and buy you a vacation home. You need to get a magnifying glass and look at the details, look for the die cracks, look for the missing elements, and do not be afraid of coins that look beaten up. The most valuable diamonds are found in the rough, and the most valuable quarters are often found covered in the dirt of the past. Dive into your collection, raid your stash, and scour every inch of your home for this 1980 D rarity, because the opportunity to become a millionaire does not come knocking every day, but it might be jingling in your pocket. And at the end, we reach the climax of our list, the coin that could make you a billionaire, the 1978 Washington quarter bicentennial hybrid era. This is a monster of a coin, of Frankenstein creation that should never have left the mint. As many of you know, the bicentennial quarters were minted in 1975 and 1976, with the dual date 1776-1976 and the drummer boy reverse. However, in 1978, the mint had returned to the standard eagle reverse design. But in a shocking twist of fatal leftover reverse die from the bicentennial era was accidentally paired with a 1978 obverse die, or in some cases a 1978 coin was struck on a placket intended for the bicentennial issue. The result is a confusing, contradictory, and absolutely priceless coin. This specific error is the stuff of legends, a rumor that turned out to be true when a specimen surfaced that looked incredibly dirty, worn, and confused. It had the 1978 date on the front, but showcased characteristics of the bicentennial design or plankett composition that were impossible for that year. This coin, a true anomaly of numismatic history, was valued at a staggering mind-blowing $10 million in a private valuation, making it one of the most significant finds in history. It represents the ultimate terror, a glitch in the matrix of the US Mint that produced a unique artifact. If you find a 1978 quarter, you need to weigh it, you need to check the design, and you need to look for any trace of the bicentennial dual dating or design elements ghosting through. It sounds impossible, but these things happen, and when they do, they create empires. Imagine the scene: you are digging through a dusty old box of your grandfather's things, you pull out a handful of dirty quarters, and there it is, the 1978 that doesn't look quite right. That moment of realization, that heart-stopping second where you realize you are holding a $10 million asset, is what we chase. This is why we hunt. This is why we never simply spend our change. You possess the power to change your life, but you have to take action. You have to stop being passive and start being a hunter. Raid the junk drawers, check the glove boxes empty, the piggy banks, and look at every single quarter with the eye of a treasure hunter. These coins are not myths, they are real physical objects that are currently sitting in someone's home, maybe even yours. Do not let this opportunity slip through your fingers. The world is full of hidden treasures disguised as trash, and it is up to you to find them. So before you wrap up today, I want you to make a promise to yourself that you will check your coins. Go to your closet, pull out those old jars, and start searching. Who knows? The next video we make could be about you and your incredible discovery. Stop ignoring your old coins. Check your collection. Look through those jars of change. Stick around for more videos like this, and remember, the hunt never ends, and the next fortune found could be yours.